journalism, or communication, business development, production management, or any course field. Therefore, the key thing, what binds us together at this moment, is that we're on the path to become a professional. And that is what we're going to start from. Journalism, or communication, business development, production management, or any course field. Therefore, the be a professional. A professional is somebody that has expertise in doing something that others cannot do. That is the shroff cut of what a professional is. It's not the technical definition, but that is the essence of it. My mom teaches me, my uncle will teach me, but they're not teachers, so I won't call them teachers. Does that make sense? So the whole point is that you're a professional because you can offer something somebody else cannot offer. To offer what somebody else cannot offer, you need to be certified. Does that make sense? The use of the logic. You cannot, I laugh at people who call themselves engineers. Or the artisans. You call them engineers, but deep down, you know they're not. We know who an engineer is. It's just like, you have to be certified to be a professional. That is sort of the most visible thing about being a professional. The fact that you have to be certified to be a professional takes us a step back to say that that kind of certification is not something you get in your 4 years bachelor's degree. Which means that if you study law, you're not a lawyer. You've just studied law. To be a lawyer, what do you need to do? You need to go to law school. Go to law school, then join the bar. And try to come out of it not drunk. Because it's a bar. It just means you studied law. To be a doctor is not just by studying medicine, you get MBBS. You need to then be in medical school when you're certified. The same for engineering. This mindset is something we miss generally because we think that by going to university, we're ready for the profession. That's the first error we make. That's the first hidden truth. That is real there, but we don't think because we're not told. We just really want to go to university. Well, you guys actually, in a way, you're unlucky, but you're also luckier. In the sense that anybody below 40 years old, even 35 years old, you do not have the kind of expectations those of us to that. So up till about 30 years ago, once you went to university, you thought the whole world owed you something. I'm a graduate. And honestly, it worked. About 30 years ago, if you're a graduate, you stood out in a crowd. It meant something that you're a graduate. Then you all tell the world you graduate with a good grade, like first class. There are some places in the world, like Cambridge, for example, have a first class degree. It is assumed that people should sort of defer to you. Because somehow you believe that you must know more than the rest of the world. Does that make sense? Those are knowledge-driven industry and society. And somehow you walk that way, you think, I don't know how, but even in the crowd, people sort of think maybe you're first class. Those in society we do our best. So we go to profession. The professional side has expertise, the sort of quantified the professional. Does that make sense? Certification. Then there are some other things, and so those of you not taking note, to be taking note. Well, you should be taking notes all throughout, but this is a very crucial part. Now we're going to look at the lineament of a professional. What is it that makes you a professional, not just because you say so, or a piece of paper says so? The first thing is an I, information. The professional is informed. The professional knows things. It's not vaguely. It's not like Who's an IT person here? It's not like those IT people that you call, you have trouble and they are doing trial by error. They don't know themselves. You're asking them the thing that they're trying it with you. That is not professional. A professional actually knows, when they get into the room, they know things that you don't know. And you know what? When you meet people who know, do you not know yourself that this person knows? Even if you don't know anything about the thing, when they talk to you, you can see that they know what they're talking about. At least they understand the situation. That is the first element that makes a professional: information. The professional is informed. Another thing that makes a professional is that the professional is precise. Unlike the way we're used to talking, many of us, the professional does not say, I need some. The professional says, I need 5. Or I need 6. It's not vague, it's not casual. There are people who say, I need money. Let's give I need money for whatever, whether it's buying a car or something. You need money. Let's give you 50 naira. That's money. I need some. You're precise. You're precise because in most cases, the talking to, as a professional, their life is not there to listen to you. You're an accident in their life. At most, you're there to help them. So you don't think they want to listen to all your story. Don't tell them the why, the because, your effort. Does that make sense? You want to be precise. You want to tell them, this is what I'm going to do for you. This is what I'm going to do. Are we together on that? Being precise. Another crucial thing for a professional is to be punctual. Unlike other people, the professional does not go. We've talked about being precise. The professional is not just like that. The professional does not do too bad. What is that expression that drives me mad that people use in this type these days? You tell them how was it, they say it's okay or it's fine. What does okay mean? We're so used to bad thing. Okay is 5/10. There's so many things you can say beyond okay. You say fine, you say very well, you say fantastic, you say appalling, you say different, you say manageable. Okay. People tell me it's very okay. And I'm wondering, what does that mean? If you're going to get along with people in town, maybe that might help you. But if you plan to go international, if you plan to go for big corporations, if you plan to go beyond your neighborhood, okay is not accepted. If you go for a job interview and you talk that way, they won't tell you what you've done wrong. They'll simply give the job to who? Somebody who's informed and who's precise and who's punctual in what they do. Does that make sense, people? So it is very important that we pick up this piece of the professional. The other P for a professional is that a professional is prepared. You don't walk into any situation. You go into a situation, meeting, an appointment, a lesson in class, prepared for what you're going to do there, what you're going to expect in there. Of course, to be prepared, you need to be informed. Does that make sense? To be prepared, you need to be precise in the information you're getting. Punctual enough to get into a room to study and look at the best place to sit down, depending on what you want to do, depending on how you want to be seen, depending on what you want to see. Nothing is casual for a professional. Not because you're God or because you want to manipulate, but because your mindset works in getting out the best of whatever you taught. The professional is, you're prepared, you get used to it. Let me give you a trick and a tip. No matter where you go, what you require, there are only 3 possible answers when you go and meet people for life. It's perhaps a yes, perhaps a no, it's perhaps come back or give us more information. Does that make sense? Whatever you require. So, for those three possibilities, you're fine. Who's business development student there? Business development? Business development? So let's take, you're going to propose a business, a partnership, because those are the kind of things you'll be doing. Or you want to reach a joint venture or franchise, or you want to negotiate. I always do this when I go for these kind of things. I just go with 3 letters in my pocket. I came to your office today as agreed to meet you, and this is the letter of everything you want. This is the content about us. Does that make sense? In case I didn't meet you. When you go to offices, the business development, is anybody working out of this business development or you tried any job? Yes? Okay. When you go to offices, what do they say? Bring a proposal. You know what I do? I simply go back to the corner. I just open my bag because I'm prepared for that question. As requested, this is our proposal. We need more information. I open another bag in my bag. People always laugh at me, especially my children. Bag is too heavy. Then you don't know. One day you will know why my bag. So you're spoiling this bag. You don't know what's inside it. I open another page. As requested, these are the more information you need. That will save me, especially if you're traveling. It will save me another journey. I'm just ready for it. So what do I do? That's Monday. Call on Wednesday. Did you see what we dropped for you? Not come back. Maybe the guy was trying to push me away, tell him to come back next week. No, I've done it there. Does that make sense, people? That is what's being prepared just to you. That is what that is what preparation does to you. What P are we on? First, second, third P. Number 3, this P here. That is what preparation is. Does that make sense, people? Because you're not going there and then the P, the professional plus you add whatever you do. It's only your parents or your siblings that do things because they love you, not because they hate you. You're not a beggar. You must be adding value to the people you meet. Your applause. Does that make sense? The reason why they want to give you job, they should be giving you job, is not because they pity you. It's because you're going to do something for them. You're going to help them do what they cannot do by themselves. Of course, to be able to do something not by themselves, you have to be informed. You have to be precise. You have to be prepared. Does that make sense? So when you merge all these things together, you will see that when you approach people for things beyond your family, those are the ones that will love you even though you're ugly. Meet some little children. When they're born, they will say, oh, beautiful. It's not true. None of them are very beautiful, are they? Say the truth. Don't make only me look bad. I mean, have you seen children that are not beautiful and say, oh, beautiful? People lie because they're kids. You know, they're just loving. That's fun. But when you're an adult, trust me, if you're not beautiful, people will know. Who's going to take you if you go to a job and you go scruffy? Really? You blame them? Maybe you will because you needed the job. But in truth, are they right or wrong for not taking you? If you were them, will you take yourself? So it must be a plus in a professional level. It's not favors. I see people looking for a job and say, please, I need a job, and they're telling you why, because their family is poor, they've not had any food. And they're not thinking in that moment that you didn't set up your company as a charity. If you wanted to, you can. Does that make sense? It's a wrong conversation to want people to give you a job because you need it. No, they're going to give you a job. They're going to do business with you because they need you. because you are bringing something to the table that will improve their system, to be a plus to them. So overall, this to see there are 3 more P's I've not added to this. If you can look for them, if you can look for those 3 P's and add it to yourself, you can call an essay and call it "It's of being a professional," or what a professional is. Above all, you need to do this thing because that is what we're hoping you become. Somebody who has expertise, that will be certified, known as a professional in one area or the other. And above all, that when you see the person, without being told, without bringing a certificate out, you can tell, even if you don't like them, that they're informed, that they're prepared, that they're precise at all times, that they can add value because they're actually a plus. So that's what we're going to be doing. We say this thing today, not as we go along. Please write this down. Because one of the crucial things you're going to take away from this journey is an approach which we call Z to A approach. Not A to Z, Z to A. The Z to A approach, which in most of the things we're going to be doing at CIAPS, we share with you. I don't know if we'll tell you not to share it with others, but it's something that will make you stand out. When you see CIAPS people, it's one of the things you notice about them. That wherever you sit with a graduate of CIAPS, the way they interact on the table, the way they plan, is quite different from the others because of some little things. One of them is this Z to A approach. Before you start something, instead of starting from A, which is the beginning, most people say you do it from A to Z. We start from the end. You start from the end like we're doing today because you decide who you want to be, where you want to go before you start your journey. Does that make sense? You look at yourself and you say, by the end of this program, I want to be somebody who is informed, who is prepared, who is precise, who has value wherever I go to. So that once you know where you want to end at, starting from today, you start to build yourself towards that. So that everything you're doing, rather than just come to class or just learn, you will come to class, you will learn, whether online or face-to-face. But above all, what you are gathering, what you're going to be doing is gathering evidence to prove that you are all those things we've written about. Does that make sense? So that you see somebody and you say, I'm going to show them I'm informed. These are the things I'm going to say. These are the things I'm going to ask. These are the things I'm going to present. I'm going to show them I'm prepared. And this is what I'm going to do. Whoever's done a job interview before, they ask you, give us evidence of this. Give us evidence of that. Does that make sense? So that if you're doing any course, what project management. So if you're doing any course, you're doing project management, for example, and somebody says, you give me an example of a project that you've done, or show me that you have planning skills, we're going to make sure that you have that proof. How do we do it? We're going to give you a project to do. Not a project that is hidden inside this hall. It will be a project that somebody will Google it, will see the project, and will see your name on it. It will be something real. And that is a key thing about your program. Okay. And that is a key thing about your program. So when we talk about your program, we said earlier on your program lasts 3 months. 3 months which flies. So hold on to that. Lessons will be once or twice a week, depending on the model you're doing. In that period, you will learn theory in the classroom and you will practice it on the field. So that if somebody like Stanley, the big thing about standing out, I know his name. So somebody like Stanley, for example, who's doing media and journalism, media communication, if he learns in the classroom, if we do a class on how to conduct interviews, guess what? By the end of his course, he will conduct an interview and his interview will be published in a paper that you can read. What does that give him? The next time he talks about his CV or he applies for a job, he's not going to be saying, well, I write a lot when I was in school. No, he's going to say, check the punch. That is my article in there. It just changes you of the who you are. Straight away. Of course, to be published in the punch, it has to be good. You won't say, I know them at CIAPS. That will not take you through. What CIAPS will do for you is to present you to them. Your article has to be good enough. Do you agree with me? You know, they have to see. But the whole point is that, yes, we're able to please them. So we have classrooms once or twice a week, depending on the module. Ideally, you should dedicate 3 or 4 days to your program, and this you use it. 1 or 2 days in the classrooms, 1 or 2 days for your own personal research, then 1 or 2 days for practice. Practice will be anything from going to do a real thing to writing to preparing a project. Does that make sense, people? You will get this lineup. So I do hope this is not something you can actually teach people. It's almost a grace of God or something you apply yourself to. I do hope that you've chosen a course or program you really like. It's not enough to record to say that's one that will get you a job. What will make you excel is when you're doing what you like. Does that make sense? If you're doing what you like, you will notice that time flies. The thing about doing what you like or what you don't like is like the songs they sing in church. Not passionate. So they do a terrible job. Like most of the people who govern this country. They're just passionate about their pockets, not ideas, not about great things. Because there's a lot of things needed in this country. I say this, well, I like to criticize politicians, but that's not the problem. But that's not to criticize them. I say this because if you're passionate about your own trade, about your own learning, you can see problems and solutions. Does that make sense? And that is you adding value. And that is why in the chaos in this land, people who can think and can work hard and with a bit of luck and can attract the right people, you can actually make a difference very easily. All you need is come up with one solution that solves the problem. Et voila, it's done. This thing about attracting the right people is the next thing, even though we all listen again, that a professional needs to be able to do, and which you're going to let in your program, is to be able to partner with people, to form partnership. Of course, forming partnership, being a good partner, means that you have something to offer on the table. Does that make sense? That you're actually helpful. To be helpful, need I say, you need to be informed, you need to be precise, you need to be prepared to actually help them. If somebody is a strange friendship and you have noticed it, if somebody keeps helping you all the time, you're not friends, you're not partner anymore, are you? If it's one person helping you, that is why you cannot be partners to your parents. You're dependent, that is the word. To be a partner, it's a give and take. You must offer something. What is the easiest thing you can offer people? Anybody? Knowledge. Well, you have to know though. Otherwise, you make that situation worse. You give them bad knowledge. Let's call it information, but it's actually knowledge. That's what you know you share. And this generation, I've never seen, never in the history of mankind, has information been so available and so accessible. I mean, you guys don't know it, but it has never happened in the history of humanity, from the Egyptians to the Greeks to the Romans to the early Westerners. It has never happened that information is so available. So that what we're doing now, people are following us in Ghana, they're following us elsewhere, and you can take a picture and send it to anywhere in the world immediately. Does that make sense? It has never happened in the history of humanity that information can fly so much. Could have some money left. I remember you are the late comer. What's your name? There you go. Course. Project management. Give a round of applause. What are we clapping for? She knows her name and her course. You say that, some people don't even know that. So it can always be worse in life. Please don't come late again. Please. Thank you. So you need to be able to add value, make you a partner. And we teach that here. There is, and this is another unique thing that you're going to see at CIAPS. There is a course, a module I'm very passionate about. It's called P3 or PPP. P3, PPP means project, partner, and publications. And you're going to be involved in this. There is a we have that is averse, that is afraid of partnership. We're going to try to teach you how to manage it. Our lawyers, and you will see some modules in law that you do, our legal experts, it's something we try to do every year to improve on how to make partnership work in Nigeria. I don't go into partnership with people, they'll kill you. I said that before. Trust anybody. It might be true, but the problem we have though is that is why we struggle as a country, as a society, as a system. Because most businesses, most projects are managed with the sole trader mentality. And trust me, one man cannot do it all, no matter how smart, no matter how big you are. And that's why, look at Nigeria, there is not yet a story of a 3-generation wealth. Do we have generations? Rotimi, do we have 3-generation wealth in Nigeria? I don't think so, no. What's the biggest generation we have? Two. We don't have 3 yet. Dantata yet. No. Second generation. You see, because nobody alone can do phenomenal big things. One man can have the idea, but rarely do you find people who can combine innovation and administration together. It is difficult. It's not because they're bad. The way we've been created, we tend to be stronger on one side and lack the other side. That's why you see somebody who's very good in business and they just go and do politics and disgrace themselves. And you're wondering what happened to them. Because they were following just themselves. Does that make sense? So partnership is something we'll create. We're going to do projects in our PPP that will gather you together and learn how to work with people. If you're not your business, you don't really talk about partnership. You're applying for a job. Oh, if you're applying for a job, talk about what did they ask you for when you apply for a job? Teamwork. Has anybody seen those things? We try to get with that you can actually do teamwork successfully. The other reason why we're keen on all these things is to improve your CV. Does that make sense? So when you do partnership and can publish your essays and some other things you've done, it is proof. No. So your program is a postgraduate professional program, which means that, as we've stated earlier on, you have 2 to 3 days of study yourself, which means that you should not expect that you come to class and we spoon feed you. You won't really get a class where somebody will come in and say, biology is the study of living things. You know, those kind of basic definition. No, we'll expect you to be able to find those things yourself. You're not going to get Well, luckily, I was going to say nobody's going to be sending handouts to you. Luckily, we don't even send handouts because most of the things we do are paperless. We don't do paper. We don't do the photocopy of this. We'll simply give you a link to do that. What that means is that there's a lot of self-study required of you because it's a postgraduate professional program. It is assumed that you can study unsupervised. I mean, you can still ask questions. If you don't understand things, it's fine. You start asking stupid questions, your colleagues will know you. We all have that kind of person on our unit days. That one that's always asking. Try not to be that one. 1 out of 3 people do stupid things. If you can't think of anybody, then that means it was you. So that's what your program is about. Learning, you can learn online and in the classroom. Your learning will be lectures, there will be talks, and there will be different kind of activities. There will also be reading. You're going to have 10 weeks of programs effectively of classroom learning, but the whole thing will be 12 weeks. I say weeks, not days, but we want to count days. God knows what will happen. Data. When we talk about learning and I think assessment as well, what is it? And the activities that will be going on. It is better to just assume that the next 3 months, starting from next month, because your classes will actually start July, today, so that you have a week to prepare yourself and all these things that we do. But you will have something to do in this 1 week. So just tell yourself that from now to the next 3 months, you are on a project. Guess what that project is? Self. So maybe you should look at yourself now and say, I'm starting a project. Use your name, not mine. Anthony Killer. Say it. I'm starting a project.
I'm starting a project, Loretta.
A project Stanley. You have to look yourself as a professional working for Loretta, working for Stanley, or for yourself. Does that make sense? And what is it you want to do? You want to make yourself better. You want to be that person that will describe. In any of your field, project management, business development, health management, whose course has been left out? That's not been mentioned at all. Yes. What's your course?
Event planning.
Event planning. You want to be a non-professional of event planning. That is your project in the next 3 months. So you focus on it. Does that make sense? Your learning is not about coming to class and getting lessons that will be thrown into you. You should come to class with the mindset that I'm coming to gather tips that I will use to help this my project. So if you're planning to set up a business, the tips you get should be how to set up a, and all the questions you have, all the things you're thinking about, you should be getting the questions, the answers in each class you go to. Does that make sense? And then you should ask me your own question. You know, what if I want to register my business? What if I want to go away from wedding and do corporate events? How do I get hotel to recommend me as an event planner? How do I become a project manager who's not employed by others? Does that make sense? Those are the kind of things you'll be looking for, so that in your classroom, teachers like in school, they're actually consultants for you for the Loretta project. Does that make sense? They're going to be consultants for that project. That best people to make use of it. These are going to be learning. Publication is very important because it is the way we showcase you and you showcase yourself. By the end of the program, you're going to have 7 essays. Is it 6 or 7? 7 essays that you've written. Some will be long, some will be short. Some will be heavy, some will be light. It doesn't matter.
7 or more.
7 more. I advise you to do more because sometimes they look good. Say, no, this is terrible. for 10. Does that make sense? Which is like once every week. You create a portfolio. That portfolio is something that you use to show your expertise, that shows you're a professional, that shows that you can plan an event, that shows that you can manage a business, that shows that you can do an interview, you can do a feature story. Does that make sense? That is your proof. Then, if they're good enough, we publish some of them. So that the next time somebody Googles you, it's not your face, it's not only your Facebook page that will come up. You know, something actually real about you will come up, something professional, something that shows that you have intellect. Those of you who have strange social media names like Sexy Me or Cookie Jojo, I advise you today to go and change that business name to your name. Or if you have a business, the name of your business. Imagine somebody looking for a project manager. You come in and say, who are you? They Google you and they see Cookie Jojo. It's good when you're playing with those things, but those days are over. It's a real thing now. So, activity do the publication, which is important, and the projects you're going to do. These projects, did you listen when the registrar was talking? We have 3 kinds of projects. Did you hear that? Some will be generated in here, some come from outside, some we used to simulate, but whichever one, they're true ones that you do. Some of them you start earning money, you know, immediately. Hopefully, the next event we'll have inside here will be managed by our students of event management, coupled with project management, who is participating in events, and maybe media. Who said media? Ah, you. Okay, well, we can't really applaud you. And media people. I'm listing this thing. Why? Because when opportunities come up, it is up to you to look into where you fit in. Do you understand? You might even be a production person. If you can fit in, trust me, in the media thing, they'll take you. It's about you pitching yourself and say, I want to be part of it. When you say that, what's the next question they ask you? Sorry? What can you offer us? And you should have that answer ready. Why? Because you're prepared, because it doesn't say, you look at it and say, this is my pitch. This is what I can offer them. Does that make sense? So that's what we're going to be doing about that. And we hope that, I've just said it, so your assessment is going to be a portfolio made of your essays. You need 6 to 7 essays, depending on your course, to be certified. There's not going to be a final exam. It's your essays. The trick to that essays is do it weekly. It's a week. Just sit down, 2 hours, 1 hour, 2 days, whatever it takes, get it done, so that every week. Let's talk about this portfolio business. Oh, males, you were told about getting a laptop, iPad, or something you can. You should go home today and create a portfolio. What's the folder, the yellow one? Everybody knows folder? Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No. Ah, okay.
Yeah. Think of a topic that interests you, that excites you, about your chosen profession. That lady does events management, right? So maybe you want to start with something like 7 critical factors that aids an event manager, and write an essay on something like that. For business development, you really want to write about the complexity of setting. It'll take you 2 to 3 days to research. But if you set that target weekly, it's achievable. I know a lot of people are scared of writing, but you're not a professional except you're published. Okay? So that's why I don't want us to just gloss over this essay. These essays are major. So I would like to focus on that.
So major is right. For two reasons. One, it shows you nothing. It allows us to also exhibit you. Every week, every topic you do, there'll be an essay to write. So just look for the ones that you really enjoy, that you're passionate about. If somebody writes an essay about, I don't know, planning events in Nigeria, somebody somewhere from Australia to Enugu, anywhere, if they're looking about events in Nigeria, what do? They Google. Now, if your essay, of course, if it comes up in your Facebook page, they might not touch you. But if your essay comes up somewhere that is not you, that you control, that shows that somebody felt that this thing is good enough to be published, you are considered either to come and plan an event or even to come and speak on their radio. You know, I say radio, but this is normally TV. Who's been to a radio station before? Oh, really? Oh, well, you're a media person. Are you a media person as well? Are you a media? Only media people have been there. People live their whole life without going to a radio station. But you never can tell. Does that make sense? So then you have reports which are linked to your projects. By the way, you'll be taught about report and essay writing. You'll be helped. You know, you really don't know it, but hopefully you have an idea already because you all did your dissertation, didn't you? So I mean, something you've written before, you get to write more. So that's about assessment, but we shall break it down more. And of course, your projects, which we mentioned. Events are crucial for us here because it allows us to showcase you. It allows you to interact with people. Tutu Bashman is going to tell you more about those things. One of the things we do is that we bring businesses and employers into CIAPS to meet you. So we have HR directors that come to meet our students. We have businesses, banks who come to talk about projects. For those of you who want to start business, we have people who talk about opportunities. So events are a crucial thing for us. So you will be part of that as well. For your practice, but I'm going to leave this, but I think we should talk about this more ourselves. We think these are possible future, you know, either you start up your own thing, you get into employment, we get into job placement after your course. Those are the areas we're looking for. There's one area, I don't know why they never put it, which is those of you who want to go into research and teaching. You know, there's nothing stopping you from being one of the person talking here by end of this year or next year. If you've done the course and you've written very well. I guess nobody wants to be a teacher, but the opportunity is there. So our plan is in this course, help you become a professional, get the knowledge you need to be certified, and hopefully by the end of it, you'll be able to move easily to any of those 4 areas we saw. Starting up your own business or growing the one you have, moving to employment or into a job placement or be involved in a project. This is the end point of the program. That is what we want to take you to. To do that, you have to be a professional, but you have to start from that end point today. Remember we talked about the Z2A approach, knowing fully well that that is what you want to achieve. So you have like an empty bag and you're putting the items you need to become this inside it. It is not going to be a very easy journey because good things are never easy. If you look at it, it's always bad things that are easy. But we're going to try to make it, I don't know, can we use the word fun? At least we're going to try to make it rewarding and engaging. Because it will be fun if you make it fun. There's nothing I can do if I make a joke and you laugh and it's not funny. But I guess if you like me, everything I say will be funny. You can feel free to laugh at us if it's going to make life, you know, easy for you. Then God help you when you need something. You see, we're very real here. And you're going to see that about everything you do. Because the whole point is to prepare you for the real world as real professionals. And it's good we know that from today. Just one last thing before I go, which is a very important thing. So we use social media a lot here. If you notice when we talk about telephone numbers, we don't say telephone, we say WhatsApp. Because most of the things we want to say, we want you to read it. So please make sure your WhatsApp is working. Make sure your social media handles are working and clean. Because these days, the employers and prospective business partners, they actually Google your social media handle just to see who you are.
Embassy.
Besides who you say you are. Does that make sense? So I advise you to get on Twitter, Instagram, what's the third one? Facebook and LinkedIn. Try to get at least 4. Say it again. Instagram and LinkedIn. Those are 4. Add WhatsApp to it to make it 5. Okay? You should go and clean up your thing. And now this is very crucial. The circle you follow influences what happens to you a lot. It's in true life, but it's also in social media. Now that you've started this program, the first thing you need to do, clean up your handle, as we said, follow CIAPS. Then you should try to start following things that is relevant to your project, the project you. Does that make sense? Just don't follow, I guess you can follow the gossip people if you really need to laugh. But hopefully you're so busy that what makes you laugh should be your progress now. That should be what excites you. Does that make sense? That is what you need to be looking at now. Because if you start following news, you know the way social media works. Is anybody doing digital management here? Nobody. Okay. Those of you doing digital management, the people doing digital management will tell us as one of their own presentations. The way it works is that it follows you. It checks if you like something, it will show you something similar to that. Does that make sense? So you have to let the world, let social media know that what you like is your progress. Does that make sense? That it is your personal progress that interests you right now, in this moment of your life starting from today. And because of that, they'll start showing things about event management, product management, business management. They will start sending information about that, and people will say, here is a thing that can do a lot for you, is that if you can present yourself, the way you present yourself is the way people are going to receive. If you start presenting yourself as a professional in the field you are hoping to be, when you start to present yourself that way, it's going to go a long way. That's what before. So I will advise, for example, that whether it's your Twitter, your Instagram, try to tweet or post something today, tomorrow, that talk about this, your new status. I'm Stanley Ake. I've just started this media and communication thing. And CIAPS very soon expect this from me. Does that make sense? In a way, what you're telling the world is that there's a new me. Does that make sense? Don't go and write that, the new me. But let them know you're doing an important course in this place and this is what will be turning out from you. You'll be shocked what will happen. All of a sudden, somebody's going to say to you, can you help me do this? Even if it's for free, do it now. It shows you're doing something and it shows your value. Does that make sense? So that you don't start looking for a job or planning to set up your business at the end of 3 months. You start today. And if they ask you something you can't do, don't lie. Don't go and spoil their business. Just say, I'm going to ask, and you can come and ask if somebody will help you. If you post something that working towards becoming a business development manager, and now I know this, I'm a professional of anything you write, and somebody says, come and manage my business, don't go and do it. You can't do that here. But call for help. Just come back to the center and say, I've got this offer. Can you help me do it? Does that make sense? And you'll be helped. So project yourself from now, and ultimately you will become a professional, and we'll start planning for it today. Thank you very much. For online people. Oh yes, I did.
We're back on that. All right. I hope that was insightful. Before we move on to the next speaker, I want to contribute something on this social media business. If you are here and you have dancing videos of yourself on social media, you need to delete it now. This is serious because people will take you for who you say you are. It's okay to have fun on social media, but if you plan to be a professional, you need to focus on the things that are important to you. Nobody offers a project manager a job who has dancing videos. This is true. They won't take you seriously. You can't come across as serious. Now, if you want to be a content creator, that's fine. People make money from it, so that's fine. But if that's not your company, then please focus with what best. If you must dance, open a separate account. It's important, please, because there are far too many accounts on social media that we see like that. Nobody takes them seriously. People get carried away. It's somebody's sister's uncle's son's birthday, so it's okay. It is okay. Just try not to post it on your professional account. You can open a sexyme@gmail.com for that. Yeah, because when I opened my first email account, I started with some crazy name like jingo01@yahoo.com. Yeah. When I left school, it occurred to me that the only email that's active is a mixture of my first name and my surname. So by the time I did it, my name was gone. My name is Raju, but I ended up with Timiri Raju. Still decent. So please try to concentrate on what you name yourself on social media. It's true. So let's welcome our next speaker, who will take you more into the other things.
Good morning, everybody. I feel we are, I'm sure you feel the same thing. This stuff has taken us to a walk of life, and brought us to where we have to get serious and be professional. My name is Tutu Bashorun, and I'm going to be here shortly with you. What do I have? Okay. I teach media communications and law, and I head your career development program. The real thing I want you to know about today is your career development program. This is a project you do for yourself to become that Stanley Ward professional. So like Prof said, that's the word that will be ringing from now to throughout the next 3 months, 90 days, and going forward. It is that we are here at CIAPS. Being groomed to become a professional at CIAPS is a special thing. It has its own unique features, and one of them is what you will get, what we call the CIAPS advantage. The CIAPS advantage gives you you learn from the best, like you've seen Prof, you've seen Mr. Arutimi, and of course my humble self. Our faculty are top international experts in their field. Some of your courses will be online, so you'll be linked with the person in another country. Then we have flexible study times. You can choose to have your classes on weekdays, Monday to Friday, or at the weekend, like we are here now, Saturday and Sundays. Also, we make it to develop practical skills. As is during the program, you will experience different areas of administration roles and projects. You will not be solely academic. It's not paperwork only. It's practice along with paperwork. One thing I learned in my studies abroad, we have people coming into a class with PhD, different forms of masters. The first thing the interviewer will ask you, what's your job experience? All these things you've learned, where have you practiced it? It's good to memorize to go into your exams, but how have you put the results of your exams into use? Here in CIAPS, we have a hands-on approach to giving you the practical skills because you're building yourself as a project. Then we give you career support. We have a team of competent and passionate professionals who are able to assist you with your career guidance, your CV. Your CV should not be, okay, your name, address, then you come to your date of birth. No, before you got your address, you were born. So name, date of birth, address, it has to flow. We are also registered with international professional bodies. For the Nigerian professional bodies, we believe you'll be able to do that on your own. But professional bodies that are affiliated with CIAPS will help you through. Then we provide an enabling learning friendly staff. You learn and grow in a comfortable learning environment with great welfare services. I'm sure you've met Zach at the door. Each one of us is ready. We are here for you to help you, to put you through. Just tell us what you want and you'll be directed. If I don't know, Zach doesn't know, you definitely know who can put you through. Then you will also earn an international certificate because CIAPS is affiliated organization. You will earn your certificate, making you competent locally and globally. Then the next thing we have, which is to your advantage and to my advantage, is we have an outcome-based education. That is, we have a relationship with employers, just like Prof said. Here we teach you, it's not only the curriculum, but we also get feedback from the employers, telling us what they require in each field. Like in the media field, we have affiliations with their organizations that tell us, oh, we want people who can be swift in reporting, swift in giving good comments, swift in writing, swift, sharply, not using excess words. And then here we'll equip you also to be able to set up your own business or continue in the business that you are carrying on now, but which will reflect your visit here, your time spent with us here. Then most importantly, we have the CIAPS HR forum, which is quarterly meeting. We have organizations that come to meet with us here. The HR directors, heads of HR units, and they tell us what they want us to do for them. So we are in partnership with them. We have the talks quarterly, every 3 months we must meet, even if it's for an hour, so that we can gauge each other and know what we want, they want from us, and what we can get and give them as well. Now, I'll say this. During your time here, we'll help you with your CV clinics. There's some people that we brushed off. It's the same CV they've been sending around. But when it came to CIAPS, we just put the CIAPS brush on it and we sent it to a couple of places. And they started getting calls coming in for interviews. Some even had multiple, employments. Because we will look at your CV as in where we would like you to be. Because we have the knowledge, we have the back knowledge from the HR and the employers. So we wouldn't want you to send you a CV that would say, for example, you're talking about media and you are in sports and you have no sports experience, not even football. We'll tell you, somebody like me will tell you, oh, if nothing else, listen to the sports commentaries on the radio. You listen to it first day, second day, it will become you because you are your project. You are projectionalizing yourself. Let me use that big word. So you pick up that and then you will educate yourself. You will read online, you read your newspapers, you read whatever, and sports will now become part of you. You now see that it's sports, it can lead me to the next level. So why should I not adopt it as part of my way of life? Then we have information about jobs, which we post always on the website. Sometimes, most times even on WhatsApp. Once I get this WhatsApp postings, I look at them and I say, oh, maybe I have a friend or a friend's child that will be interested in this, and I put it on my status. CIAPS always does that. We are, information is key. So you will not, I'll tell you one thing, you will not know about something before CIAPS. CIAPS will be your encyclopedia and first step to know about your field that we are putting you through. We'll also give you information about setting up your business. And then another thing is about furthering your education outside Nigeria for the countries and areas that are within our purview. We will not tell you what we cannot offer you. If we have links in Gambia and they are suitable for your request, you can be sure that we'll be the godfather and godmother to put you through. And then I would like us to also look at other features we have, the CV clinic. It's where you have to come to tell, sometimes you come in with your CV and you say, oh, this is my CV. And then we read through and say, but young man, we believe you could, from your performance so far with us, 30 days, 60 days, we believe you could consider this other avenue because your CV is rich, your information portfolio is rich, but your projects, what you've actually practicalized and exposed to us, we can see that you have some latent knowledge which you have brought out and redefined yourself. So we can help you to, amend your CV to the present, the person you are as at that time. Because in 30 days' time, you will not be you. Because you are your project, you started now. And on that basis, I now welcome you to CIAPS once again. I wish you all the best. And like what our young Uncle Rotimi said, he said, your social media world, please clean it up. I'll tell you one experience I had when I went into law school. We had an induction day like this, and there was a Jamaican man with his dreadlocks. Men. For me, dreadlocks is women. So a man with dreadlocks, I completely kept my distance. We were about 100 students, and I think there were 6 black people, me being one. So he was one of the people that is zoomed out of. I didn't see him. So we carried on with our courses. So the second year, we had a project we had to come and study in the summer in school. So we were in the cafeteria with my friends and some of us went to get water to drink. And he came, sat down just beside me. He had scraped his hair, skin cut. So we talked, he then looked at me and said, you don't recognize me? I was like, no. He said, I was the guy with the dreadlocks a year ago. I said, okay, what happened? He said they advised me that if you are paying £15,000 tuition, law school, clean up. £15,000 is a lot of money today. Talk less of them. He cleaned up, he shaved his head, and he had a very nice head shape. So please, let's take everything we've said here, not as a pinch of salt, but a load of knowledge. Thank you.
Okay. Please. Another informative session. I think we're going to move to the interactive session now. For people who have questions to ask, they should please let us know their views. But before we go there, I am never one to see a lawyer sitting and not ask for free advice. So I want to find out, if I give my power of attorney to somebody to perform a task on my behalf, and then I go ahead and I perform that task, do I owe that person money? Even though he didn't have any input into the transaction. Let me give you the exact story so to be very precise. I sold my property, but when I wanted to sell my property, I told an agent to have my power of attorney on the condition that if he sells it, I'd pay him a percentage. Now, I eventually got the buyer myself, so he's requesting for his percentage nonetheless. So I want to know if it's legally.
Thank you. The lawyer response, it depends. That's what a good lawyer will tell you. It depends. Because he wasn't there when you did the contracting. That's number one. And number two, he could be the opposing party's lawyer. What I'm saying is that he could be in a position that he has to defend that agent against you. So he will not give you a yes or no response. He will tell you it depends. So that's the lawyer response. Now, as a CIAPS person, you have to be a dodgy lawyer. You owe him nothing.
Because nothing ventured, nothing gained. Okay. Does anybody have a question right now? Huh? It could be anything at all. I think we have some. Doubt of anything. Who has the question?
Good morning again. Sorry for coming late. My name is Eddie Young. Eddie, for short. My name is Eddie. So I want to find out. So, you said we'll be having classes like during the week or the weekend.
Your schedules will be communicated to you.
Okay. So, what if for some like for work reasons I can't come in during the week and I want to come in on the weekend? Will all the classes that happen during the week be merged into like the weekend class?
Okay, we have a virtual environment that you will. There's a portal with all our classes are on that portal, but each course has its own space on the portal. So the course that you're in here for, you will have access to that portal. So even if you miss classes, you really didn't miss anything but the interaction. And if you really have questions, you can always communicate to the facilitator through the portal and they'll respond. There's also going to be a WhatsApp group for individual classes. So all the people who are here for events management will have a WhatsApp group. All the people here for business management will have their group and so on. Then everybody else will, all of us all together as one family will also have a group. Okay, so everybody is not missing out on it. Yeah?
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
Good morning. Good to be here, and thanks for the opportunity. I have a question. My name is Tuvoso. I prefer to be called Tuboso. I have a straight question to health management. Although my background is finance, I just about I don't want to interrupt your presentation because we are flowing very well. And the best way not to interrupt, to let it flow. Ma'am, in Nigeria, there is this popular problem because wherever all of us are here for today, we will add value to someone that will translate to earning income in one way or the other. How do we manage when a third party defaults to make payment? How do we manage when a third party defaults to make a payment? Despite the fact that your failure to pay after so number of days, you will be charged 10% interest. But in real life in Nigeria, it's the other way around. How is the best way? What's the best way to handle issues? Even I mentioned that my background, so debt collection. Wow.
Sit down. I'll tell you a victory I had. No, sit down, please. A victory I had. What's today? Saturday. Yesterday. So, I'm a debt collector of the insurance industry. I went to him in November 2021. You owe my clients this money. Please pay. Okay. December, I didn't go. I want to have a night mind with my Christmas. I know they won't pay on Christmas. Nobody pays it. January, middle of January, he said to me, he said, Madam, your problem is the least of my matters now. Please don't disturb. Talking to me on the phone from upstairs. I went. Praying in March. But to wait. 2 hours. The battery on my phone was about to run down, so there was not to save it, so that I stopped reading. After 2 hours, the receptionist called him, and she was harassing him that this lady has been waiting for you for 2 hours. He said, he asked, are you all right? So she answered, of course I'm all right. So I told her to, I gave her the sign to wait. So I waited. Unfortunately for me, once I was waiting, the rain started. So I couldn't even go out. Another 2 hours came up and attended to all my matters, responded to my email. I said, okay, I'm gone. Other week, I was on him. Then he gave me an assistant in June. Her birthday was 2 Saturday. I had to turn it to Nigeria. Babe, this is your birthday. We have to do it together. But I cannot lock Peter to pay Paul. When you guys pay my clients, I will do something for you. She speeded up my file. He called me. He said, what did you say to her? Every morning when I call him, she's putting your. He said, we have discussed now. Eventually, they paid my client yesterday. My client was now saying, how did it take so long? I said, it's not your fault. You're not the one that has been going, and I've gone outside my conscience. I don't believe I should induce somebody I can gratify to no level, but I cannot induce you to do your job. God inducing me. I'm inducing myself. And you are paid for the job anyway. So back to your question. We are in a dear, unregulated economy. That's why we use connections, family connections, friend connection, networking, or anything. You have to hello every time. You cannot be in a bad mood. You cannot force somebody to pay you. They have the money. It's just that they don't feel like it. So you have to make them feel like it. And I know find the form. Your interest to start good properties, banks are holding as collateral. They can't even turn those properties to money because there's no money to buy. Hey, a 17-story building has been put down as collateral for hundreds of millions, and you're holding him. He'll just be looking at you that when you are fine and ready, we will. Just find social, professional, and maybe nicely unprofessional ways to get your money, but you cannot squeeze. This is Nigeria. This is Nigeria. Governance, Nigeria, so don't beat yourself. It will come, it will happen. Thank you.
They say of the 5 C's of credit, the most important is character. Try to avoid giving your money to people without character. It's very important to weigh their character first and foremost. And character can only be assessed by years of relationship and performance. For people in health management, it's a bit difficult. People come, you treat them, they owe you. It's a bit difficult. I'll give you an example, a personal one. My mom took ill, I took her to the clinic, they billed me, she died. I put a 3 million naira bill, and I already paid them 2 million. I'm well motivated to pay Anna. She died. So, prepare a card, we moved on, the hospital wrote me, I wrote them a love letter back. I'm really happy. And I can find 1,000,001 reasons why not to pay you. But I'm not going to go there. We're going to have to start discussing scheduled payments. They don't have a choice at that point in time. They will have to debate something with me. Write off a few, I pay a few. We give together. That is business. The only reason I offer to even pay a bit is because they might come in just for 1 day. It's true. You never close down a business opportunity. While we're at that, I would like to take a comment from the internet. Somebody says the dreadlock comment was racist and something. First of all, let me address this in a very clear manner. We're discussing about professionalism and the way. Sorry? Oh, in law. Oh, exactly. The example was a different place, a different time, and a different purpose. So nobody's being racist, nobody's being segregational. Okay? I understand in the world of today, people want to be offended by almost anything. And you can, if you look hard enough, you'll find offense everywhere. Okay, but nobody has that mindset of racism and segregation. And I think I have a couple more questions, but if anybody else has questions, please. I'm willing to entertain. Anybody else here? Questions? It will be personal. It will be career lifting. Let's share. There's one here. I'm an online student. Can I join in some classroom sessions?
Yes, the short answer is yes. Yes, you can. The whole point is to find a way to make the sessions flexible for everybody. So whether you're online student, you can join classroom, or if you're in classroom, you can join online as well. I mean, obviously, we would try to make it more engaging if you're in the classroom, but anyhow, the important thing is that you do not miss the information, you do not miss the session. So that just because you've traveled or because you broke your leg, I mean, don't go breaking your leg, but you know, that will not be a reason for you to miss a session. That's the whole point. So whether you're one, whether you chose online or you chose classroom, you can always join both. Yes, you can easily take.
Okay, there's another question here. Says my friend wants to join the program. Can she apply? I don't think we're not starting until next week, right? So there's still an opening. So anybody who wants to apply, they should feel free. Okay, this one is I have not paid. Can I do that next week? Yes, you. In fact, let me focus on the money. All right. If I have not paid, can I pay next week? Look, I just gave an example of structuring something with the hospital, right? We understand things are hard. If you have the financial issue you want to discuss, our doors are open. You can walk in and discuss with us payment terms. We'll talk about it. Nobody turns people away from knowledge because of money.
It's important to learn to honor your word. And it is also important to appear to have a plan. When you talked about the most important thing in character, those are the things that shapes your character. You do not make a promise you cannot fulfill. Do not say something just, out of saying it. Then in the meantime, always do your best in any situation where you are. You're more likely to get sympathy or support if you're seen as dedicated and engaging. You understand what I mean? That somebody sees you as, whoa, this person actually got a vision and a plan to do something like that. And I think that is important as part of this project we talk about, this yourself project. One of the good things, how many people here in on the course with somebody else? Hey. Who you? You see, it's good if you have, if you get on a course like any other project with a partner that's outside a lot. If you haven't got that, try to make a friend immediately, because when you do things with immediately, because you can plan, exchange ideas. Does that make sense? In a way, it's like, going on a journey and not being by yourself. So I just wanted to add that to it.
Networking is easier. The truth is, networking is easier in pairs. The contacts you know and the contacts you know put together is double, right? Any other questions?
Thank you very much. My name is Wally. So I want to ask a question concerning essay part of our work. So do you have a specific number of pages for the essays? Because I'm a research analyst, so I want to be sure if we have a requirement for number of pages for something. According to you said probably we need to be publishing. We need to be writing at least an essay in a week. So do we have a specific number of pages? They at the same time, me as a researcher, I love to dig deep into a situation. So they have to engage people around, maybe maybe, for example, maybe I have to set out some online questionnaire just to get some feedback on what I want to write about for that particular week. Business management.
Once everything, for example, say, write an essay or give you what an average
See, the reason why you have a cap on your essay length is because we don't want to bore people. Very few people read the work of not famous people, right? And have the patience to finish it. Yeah? Very few people have that patience. If Wole Soyinka writes an essay, I will sleep there. Okay? If Timilaguju writes an essay, nobody cares. So if it's going to be like 17 pages, they are dusting you after one page. So if you want to gain notoriety, use the keep it simple formula. Yeah? Just keep it nice and short. More? Yeah? No more questions for me?
Thank you very much. Simile, that's my name. So, you were talking about Z to A approach. Can you please emphasize on that? Yes.
It's simply on starting from the end in whatever you do. Most of us start from the beginning. So we ask you to visualize the end point before you even start the journey at all. Let me take an example from event management. Say you want to plan a party. You say to yourself, we're going to have a party next week. Before we even sit down to plan the party at all, I advise you to say, we're going to have a party on Saturday. That party will be on Saturday. What do I want people to say about it on Monday? Does that make sense? That is the Z. I want a party that people will say, that party had a beautiful environment, enough drinks for everybody, good people seated there, good music, and delicious food. And it wasn't crowded. That is what I want people to say about my party. Does that make sense? That's a Z. So based on that, I will think of, let me do this party this way. I'll find out how much is food and drinks. If the amount of money I have can feed 50 people, I'll invite 25 people. That way, everybody has double portion of their food and drink. Then I would think of those 25 people because they are less. I think of the music all of them like. If I don't know the music they like, I'll send questions to my friend and say, tell me your 5 top favorite music. What's 5 times 25? 125. They're not going to send 125 music. Chances are, a lot of them would choose the same kind of music. So they probably send me 50 or 60 music, you know. Then I'll put the play load, I'll put those 60 music, those 60 songs inside it. Then when people come around, I will arrange the table based on people I know would like to meet each other. So when people come to the party, everybody will hear a song they like, and they think, wow, the music is fantastic. Instead of fighting for food and drinks, everybody will get 2-3 glasses of drinks because there are less people there. Then the place will be spacious and it will not be sweaty. If I know somebody likes one person, I'll find a way that they sit near each other. Then I say, wow, the party was really great. That is Monday. But what they are saying on Monday about good drink, good music, lively place, I planned it before the party started at all. That is an example of Z2A approach. Does that make sense? So you plan it. So in this case, we're talking of profession. So I start a course today, and I tell myself that in 3 months' time, I want 2,000 people to know that I'm a project manager. What do I do? Tomorrow, I go to social media and say, guys, I'm starting a project management course at CIAPS. Watch out for me soon for great projects. I'm already advertising myself. Then every week I send something like, do you know what projects fail? I do. I'm talking about it. I'm showing I have information. Then another week I go there and say, I'm getting some strategies of how to manage the risk in projects. Does that make sense? And I keep talking about projects. So what am I doing? I'm building myself starting from today so that in 3 months' time, really, nobody will say, are you a project manager anymore? Most people who know me will not say, what are you doing now? They know I'm a project manager. So if they now have a project and they didn't give me, it's them. They won't say, I didn't know you're a project manager. Does that make sense, people? It's them. I mean, I don't know anybody, well, it's taken a while now, but I don't know anybody who doesn't know I'm a teacher. They see me in other places, in other things, but they never forget that because I never stop reminding them and correcting them and showing them. I don't lie low. If people make an error near me when they speak, either it's in economics or history or language, I correct it. Why? Because I'm a teacher. Does that make sense? So, but it's something you plan from earlier on that this is what you're going to do. That's the Z2A approach. Okay? Yes.
Thank you very much, sir.
Begin with an end in mind. Is that all for the question session today?
I think so. No, the Monday.
Anybody else?
That name and post.
Hello. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. I have a quick one. I don't know for others, but for me, when I was applying, I learned the programs in Germany for CIAPS. There's the Commonwealth Scholarship.
Yes.
I don't know if it's something worth talking about because maybe you couldn't say something about it. So for me, I know Commonwealth is something one can maybe talk about.
Oh yes.
Being a Commonwealth scholar.
Yes.
So I don't know if that's
It's something we want to go into. Yes, it is. Because CIAPS is an international center. Let me tell you briefly, the origin of CIAPS. CIAPS is one of those centers that were invented about 12 years ago or so, when it was thought that there needs to be a way to take international education to various parts of the world, instead of getting various people from various parts of the world into the UK and the US. And the whole idea is this: let us take that international education there, and then let the people who need the skilled people look for them from there. So that if you leave Nigeria, for example, you won't go as somebody seeking knowledge or just a better life, begging, but you go as somebody who has value to offer anywhere in the world. And luckily with the internet now, you can actually be in Nigeria, like people like him, and they're working for international organization and earning in dollars. Because what you're doing, as he says it to us, he does it from his bedroom. He takes pride, for example, in earning money without having his bath. Because he just gets on the computer from his bathroom and he does it. But to do that, you need an international education. So because CIAPS is an international center, we try to do things that opens to international world. So just as we are talking now, and I guess that's why you can get comments about Rasta being racist. I'm sure you have said that in Yaba, nobody will care. So we do things with people who are not just in Nigeria, so that the education you get is the same that is valued elsewhere in the world. But perhaps when you do the practice, with a Nigerian twist. Why the Commonwealth? Same language, same colonial origin. So you have people from Africa, from Asia, from the other Commonwealth country, from the Americas, all English-speaking countries. So the idea is, how do we aid people who are in developing countries, who are willing and capable of improving their career in virtue of them influencing their own society as well? You know, because we hope that once you guys get jobs or you start your business or you grow your business, you will employ people or influence people. You know, you would pass knowledge, as you said it earlier on. So that, how do we help these people? A major course that we've seen for studying is finance. You know, most people can take their time to read a good information, would like to be part of it, but too many people cannot afford it because of the economy in the country, because of the way things are going. So we have gotten together to say, how do we help people? How do we break this thing so that we can bring the best mind to the table, i.e., give them an opportunity? So we open it to international, to Commonwealth countries, because those are mainly developing countries, except for the UK and Canada. But I think Canada is gone out of it now, you know, where majority of the people can participate. And this is the thing, why Commonwealth, besides language? Also because we hope further down the line, we can create networking, as you rightly said, opportunity between countries. So that with this experience, which you're right, you can brag about, what you do here, we're not going to be linking you just to Lagos, Kano, Ibadan. We're hoping we can link you to Commonwealth countries as well, so that your essays will be read in Jamaica, whether with Rasta or not, another part of the world. That's the whole idea. So we lift you beyond this city and this country. So yes, the Commonwealth is important. I think, again, to give it value, as you rightly said, information is important. The reason why you're here is because somebody passed it on to you, so you know. I think it's credit to be good to that can fulfill other people's life. And you never just can tell who is going to owe you something for you exposing something. I think we were in one meeting one day and talking about this Commonwealth thing. One of the first things we say that there's a lot of people who will discover that they're Commonwealth just because of this. A lot of us have forgotten. You know, you're Commonwealth citizens. In fact, somebody thought only people abroad are citizens. That Nigerians are just Nigerians. That is one of the funniest things I've heard. But yes, these are the kind of things, you're right, that we should talk about, that opens horizon. So that's the idea. More people realize the strength of the Commonwealth, because I don't want to go into Commonwealth thing, because I'm very passionate about it, but let's just say that because we share the same language and we operate more or less under the same law, it is easy to do business with those people. It is easy to relate because you can move from one media house straight to another one. The laws are the same, the language are the same. That goes a long way. We hope that the CIAPS continues, actually becomes, through people like you, a reference point for the Commonwealth to renaissance, because the Commonwealth is really dead in West Africa lately. But it used to be a very strong thing. One of our biggest diplomats was actually Secretary General of the Commonwealth. Anybody know his name? Sorry?
You are fighting with someone.
No, Kofi Annan. Kofi Annan, well, Kofi Annan did better. He did the UN. That yes. Emeka, yes, Emeka Anyenko. Yes, who's actually, now we speak of, who's actually a CIAPS person. So yes, we are very strong about the Commonwealth, and we hope that if we can raise professionals, the other thing is this. So first, if we can raise professionals we can present to the Commonwealth, it will be a great thing. But of course, we have to raise them. We won't take you, we're not sure. So, you know, we can get it done. We'll go. Okay? That's the Commonwealth. Yes. That's the question. Yes, 200 billion people. Yes. It's a huge market. Same language, same law. You can invent anything. 10 of them pay you, each one of them pay you $5. Times 2 billion. Even the maths, how much is that? That's $10 billion. Any percentage of that is good.
So I have a question for
Yes.
Mr. Rotimi.
Good.
You said something about how we manage our social, something related to our social media, right? So I understand what you said about our social media being less professional. However, so I kind of have some, I need clarification in certain things. I know for a fact that LinkedIn is where, like, if you want to use it on, like, LinkedIn is the super social media. Like, everything there is like professional.
Sorry, what's Twitter? LinkedIn is suit and tie. What's Twitter?
Balance.
Oh, really? I didn't even know this. No, tell me. I don't understand.
I mean, like, these are just social media stuff. Like,
No, but I want to know this land. It's a learning environment. Yes. Start again. LinkedIn is suit and ties. Twitter is what? Violence. And what's the dress code on Twitter?
Just come ready to fight.
No, but they have no dress code.
No, I mean.
Anyhow, just fight. Fight the fun. That's new. No. Okay. What about Instagram?
Instagram just show up. Like,
show off.
Facebook is for old people. Okay. So,
Facebook is what? Old people. What? What about WhatsApp? Rumors market. Sorry, let's get WhatsApp. What? Business marketing. What about TikTok? My daughter is what's she's there. Sorry, I forgot.
Okay, so what I wanted to do, you said like if we have keep all our social media spaces professional. Right. So I'm thinking, if I have all the social media, so I know, like, if I'm trying to put out, I know that there's certain content I have put out from different. Yeah, I know I can't go up using pictures and asking for likes. If I want that, I can easily go to Instagram for that. If I want to put up a video in social media, I can put that on LinkedIn or Instagram. Now, would that all like coming into our, like, bringing the whole seriousness into our social life? Because like everybody should have a professional life and a social life. Because I have my Instagram where I want to keep up. I don't post every time though, but there are people that try to put up like just for memories and stuff. So
I agree.
I don't know. I don't know.
First of all, I did not say do not have a social life. A lot of people will say, well, some terrible people will say,
it's me.
A man wants to be happy, you find a woman that can cook, find a woman that can fix the house, find a woman that can always know whenever. Yeah? It's the same thing. You can be social, but try to separate your professional life from your social life. If I'm looking to hire a finance manager, yeah, I will do a bit of research into that person. I come across people who don't mind being seen half naked on social media. It might not be the image I want my corporate to project. That's not to say other corporates might mind though. Some corporates might not mind that image, but my particular corporate might not want to project that image. All I'm saying is make yourself available to a basket of options. If you want to be social, be social. You can create as many of these accounts as possible, can't you? Why restrict yourself to one? Just keep one professional. The one you share with people who are serious about your life, about your career.
I think this man is a Facebook man.
I don't know.
I think
more than one thing. So I think we can actually mix, the holy with the fun. The idea of presenting just one side of yourself maybe is too heavy. I think the key in the same page when the Instagram, when you show off, because Instagram is for show off. In the same page where you show off, you can show off your clothes, your legs, but also your brain. So you can actually see that this same person can laugh, dance, and still solve problems.
Said TikTok, right?
Yes.
A lot of people have serious content on TikTok.
And that is where I wanted to go to. You see, contrary to what you think, all the same contents are everywhere. Facebook, Instagram. While some people are showing off, some people are actually making money on there. While you say WhatsApp is business or marketing, some people are actually using Instagram for business and marketing. In this context of Project Me, what you need to ask yourself is this: am I a consumer or producer? Am I a looker or am I a doer? Mind you can look and do, you can consume and produce. But the key thing is that your whole profile should not just be about showing off that gives you nothing. Does that make sense? If you never mention it on your social media handle that you're a professional of business, of project, of health, if I Google it, you will never come up. Does that make sense? So if I say, I'm looking for a project manager in Lagos, if you've never mentioned it on your handle before, you won't come up. If I'm saying, send this message to 200 media or health management experts in Lagos, if you have never followed anything that has to do with that, if you've not mentioned it, it won't come to you. Does that make sense? I think the key thing is that you're present in the room, in the conversation, in the sphere that has to do with you. This is something you can actually do with yourself. Just go for yourself. Follow conversations, people, things that has to do with what you want to be. It could be in addition to it. There was a post, I can't remember one social media handle. Well, I won't tell you, so you go and classify me like that one there. It was something about in your PhD years or something like that. Tell me something you were doing that wasn't academic. I think that's fun. You saw it, didn't you? Ah, yes, you saw it because don't reply. Okay. This is the fun thing among PhD people. The joke to get you have to be a PhD holder. So the others, so a lot of people are saying what they were doing in PhD year. But you see, I mean, PhD is serious enough. But you can still put fun. So people put different things. So I think it can be mixed. It's a thing. The key thing is that this aspect of you, that is a project you're working on, let it be very present there as well. I think is that a good way to look at it? So you can actually mix the holy and the yes. So you can be a fun-loving, a dancing health manager. Somebody knows that, oh, this health manager. So what's the name? Tubosun. So you could be a health manager in bikini or whatever. There you go. Me too. In another life.
I say that sign is true. So I mean, if I have to go meeting all my
Oh no, you don't have to delete. You just have to add new things. Now you've scared her.
Anybody else?
No. Oh yes. That's the last question.
Question or still in line with the social media that you raised earlier. I don't know if there's a particular strategy you could recommend, because I'm still also, I'm in line with what she's saying. She was a dancer, right? And so she likes that to see her level of following or things related to that. Is there a specific, because content creation to broaden your scope to literally want to know all to lose out on some certain information. Now, for people in line with your line of study or your would not completely open your things that you could use to merge in your knowledge in terms of media or some other activity. So how well do you channel your level of followership around this particular thing? I don't know if I'm making any sense.
You want to know how to gain followers from your chosen field?
No, not really. I think he's just doing a contribution to say that you should have a plan. Is that what you're saying? Plan? Yes. What you're saying that you have a plan to do it. Let's do the well, you're going to do the VLE show now. I don't know if you without screen. You talk us through it. So we're going to have this. The next session is well, without screen, the quick session. Virtual learning thing. Let's leave talk about it later. But for social media, I don't know if you have social media. One of the things we do is that when you post things that when you post things that are related to your career, you will share it as well. And with that should help. So we will know that. Try to you can add that and we will know it. Or somehow let us know it's you. That's the start. And I think one thing that excellent. They start. You call out the social media. Let us stay and give it right out. What are we looking for? Something to say that. But it doesn't have to be boring. It could be fun, inspirational, whatever it could be. It just let us see who can project the book. How do you project yourself? Yes, TikTok is good too. Why not? I mean, you say this thing, I think you can dance. I think you can jealous. I can't dance.
Good morning. I am Kenan Nabo, and I will be taking you on VLE. Unfortunately, the projector isn't working right now. Sorry about that. It's one of those things that happen that you can't really call out for. First question. It's mostly going to be questions and answers, I think. Well, first question, how many of you have logged into VLE? When you registered, we were sent one email welcoming to your student's number, if I remember correctly. Then you got a second letter with details to the VLE, virtual learning environment, in case you didn't get that yet. Now, how many of you have logged in? How many of you have downloaded the app on your phones? 1, 2, quite a few. Okay, I was going to have you open it on your phones for some of you to understand. I'd like to believe it's self-explanatory. You log into the VLE on your PC. When you log in, you're going to come onto a screen dashboard that will show your course at the top. Currently, what you're going to see there is Induction. I believe most of you saw that. Now that is one of the courses, Induction, and then the course you applied for. That course will be added in today. So when you log in today, you should see your course on the VLE as well. On that course, you're going to be given weekly access to materials. So for week 1, you have access. You will not see the other materials until you get to week 2. And like that weekly, you'll get access to your materials starting from week 1 down to week 10, depending on how many modules you have. Now, outside of that, within each course, now remember I said, I'm calling them courses. We have the induction for today, which will be like a course on the VLE, and then your actual course that you registered for, which is not there right now, but we will be there before the end of the day. So you have the induction and you have your course will be on the VLE. For the induction, you must have seen a lineup of some content. Welcome to CIAPS video that we played only the audio of this morning, but you'll see the video on the VLE, and you can click and just watch all the other content there. There's a recording of one of our previous induction on Zoom that you can also watch. It's more abbreviated than today's, in case you want to go back and get something about the PPP sessions and whatever else that you want to check on. So you can go through the VLE for such things. But what I wanted to just state out specifically is that your courses will be on the VLE by the end of today. And when you click into those courses, you get weekly access, first of all. Besides the weekly access, you can open up PDF documents or download them each week. Some of your courses, especially maybe business development, I think media and journalism and some others, have videos of previously recorded videos from other sessions. Some of them will have that. Some others we have not caught up yet, but we're trying to fill up all those videos of every single module in your course. Is that clear so far? So you're going to see materials, PDF, possibly videos for each module in each week. And then finally, sometimes in each week of we talked about essays. Anytime you write an essay or you are asked to write an essay, you'll be expected to submit it on the VLE. Unfortunately, I was supposed to take you on how to submit assignments, but like I said, I hope it is self-explanatory. But if you have any questions, feel free to drop them on WhatsApp or send a message to CIAPS admin in the VLE. There's a chat box in the VLE as well. You can open that and send a message to CIAPS admin, and your question will be dealt with. Okay? So, materials, videos, and assignments. For the assignments, I need you to take note that when you're submitting assignments, we prefer Word document submissions. That way, you can structure your essay to have the required number of words. Sometimes we're told to write essays of 500 words or 1,000 words. You write that out in Microsoft Word, and you submit the file. When you submit the file, please ensure that your file bears your name and the topic. It should be something that people should know, but sometimes I get submissions on the VLE that is just saying Microsoft Word document.1 or something like that, .doc. It should bear your name. Typically, it's going to be under your name, but it's advised for it to have your name because sometimes said documents are going to be downloaded and sent to your lecturer to assess. But the essence of having these things is when you open the VLE, remember the dashboard, you have induction and your course. That course or induction has a bar under it that reaches 100%. You are required to fill up that 100%, meaning that you should view what you're meant to view, read what you're meant to read, and submit what you are meant to submit. Is it clear? As you do that, you'll get your 100%, and that 100% will determine release of your certificates at the end of the day. Because things that we're going to use today, be ready for your certificate, payment of your tuition fees, and submission of all essays, tasks, and access to all materials. With that, do you have any questions? Yes. You didn't get the mail, and you've made your payments. You've registered. Oh, to be clear, oh, yeah? To come for induction. It sends your proof of payment to, I think, payments at ciaps.org. We then go on to register you. We record your, what's it again? We record your, we add you to our records, and then we register you on the VLE as well, and then send you all those details. You get your admission letter, you get your receipts. It's all straightforward. So if you've not been on the VLE yet, as if you've not gotten access or any of those, it's because you haven't registered yet. There's still time during the week. Take your time and do that. Any other questions?
My question is almost like on, but my own, I didn't have the student ID number yet. I didn't know. I didn't get any.
Okay. Once again, that is registration. It's all part of the registration process. Once you pay registration/access fee, in the case of scholarships, we have a complete fee for going all the way to certificate issuance to make sure that you're ready for your certificate when the time comes. Once you pay all that, once you start making the payments, we register you. You get those main things: CIAPS ID number, admission letter, receipts, and access to VLE. Once you pay your registration, preferably everything at once, registration and tuition. But once you pay registration, you get all those things. Courses, your courses start once you are still paying tuition. Do you have anything you want to say? Okay. Any other question? For the benefit of everyone.
As a friend that wants to join, it also commented talking about installment payment. So such people, because I have someone I also need to talk to, because of the cost for our sure they don't be able to pay everything as that. How do those people?
Okay. We try to make things. He was asking about instrumental payments. We try to make things easy for everyone. The economy is hard, we know. So we allow for people to pay instrumentally. You can start making your payments. We let you start. Normally, we wouldn't let you start, but based on the way things are, we can let you start to a certain point where we cut you off. The idea being, Prof said, you have to show that you're a man of your word. Not only what you pay, the email you get, first email you get after registration, gives you a link to fill out a form with your payment plan, telling us how you wish to pay. So the first thing is just start making your payment. The keyword here is start, not everything all at once. That person can pay installments. You can start with half if they're okay with that. You still have a week for that. Yes.
Like you should pay something, so as to start, maybe to have a student number, then everything can happen later.
Yes. Yes.
I can advise them like to say start with something like 30,000.
I guess.
I'm saying, for example,
Okay.
then so that you can have access to the payment.
Okay.
And then
let the person send a message to our WhatsApp concerning that. We'll give them full details. For now, they can have a discussion with the board concerning how they want to start the payments, and then the installments don't follow up with that. But we can't based on what we're asking for. It's not like we're going to start with such a small amount as 10,000. So we have to come to an agreement. So they should send a message to WhatsApp or to payments@ciaps.org, and we'll go from there. But even they can even reply to the email, whatever email you have before.
I think I gave you one of the email that congratulated because of
Was that from? Where was that from? Can you remember? Okay, they can send to them.
The message doesn't get delivered. The mail doesn't receive.
Okay.
I think that was the complaint.
They should start a discussion.
So WhatsApp is the best bet.
Hopefully by tomorrow, we should start a discussion with us. We'll sort that out. Hopefully we have something.
So I should share the WhatsApp number.
Yes, for the person. Any other questions? Yes.
Name is Loretta. Please, do you advise we download the CIAPS?
Okay, the app. Yes, the app. Those of you who have not downloaded the app, Google Play Store, Apple Store, go there and look for Moodle. Just search for Moodle. You should be doing that now, I think. MOODLE. That's M for Mike. OODLE. Moodle. Search for Moodle. Download Moodle. Once you've downloaded that, next thing is once you open Moodle, you'll be asked for a site address. That site address should be vle.ciaps.org. Sorry, not Moodle, Moodle. Yes, unfortunately. And as I said, now I'm hungry. I've not gotten my small chops. So, yeah, vle.ciaps. Yes, once you put that in, you should now be able to game with the login details you were sent.
I think yes, so you're right. We're going to send a message on WhatsApp to everybody.
But for the benefit of those who asked just now, yes, that will be sent out. You can ask on WhatsApp as well and to be sent to you. A video was also in the email sent to you. You're on Google, Moodle. Is there any other question? If not, let me sign out now. Going. And on.
Okay, thank you very much. So we round up. So we round up today.
If you still have a question that you want to ask personally, I'll be at the back.
Oh yes, we'll stay there. You know, we can't just keep the rounding. So we round up now. I hope we've had formative sessions. We're taking away three things. I mean, well, all we've said, shared a lot of information. You have three things that you have to do. There are three that you can actually submit. You're creating this project for yourself, starting from a folder on your laptop where all your materials will be going to, the ones you download and the ones you write. That's your portfolio you're creating. You're starting this Z2A approach for yourself to improve your professional persona. So you're going to be getting all the elements to be a professional starting from today. We talked about you writing an essay about being a professional. That's a 500-word essay. It's a very short one. What it is to be a professional. There's a second essay we suggest, which is called My CIAPS Experience. My CIAPS Experience is an essay which is about your meeting with CIAPS, your expectation from yourself and CIAPS, the things that you've picked up in this short time we've had, the time being from the time you applied till now, you know, that is the whole of your CIAPS experience. That is a 650-word essay. So the first one is 500 about being a professional. My CIAPS experience is 650 words. And we also said there'll be a prize next week for the social media inspection. What we're going to do is we're going to constitute a panel of 3 people who will go through all your social media handles. By next week, we shall give us a prize for what we're going to perceive as the best social media handle. What are you looking for? Original way to present yourself, a promising way. And I guess we should add, well, I'm not a big believer in it, but I think we should add the kind of comment and follow-up you get as well, you know, how interactive you are. The idea is you're using that handle to go beyond being a consumer. And as a professional, you're now somebody gaining from social media rather than being used by social media. We hope that way employers and potential business will start seeing you. And indeed your friends and family will start looking at you differently because you're not just consuming other people's life anymore. So, well done everybody. Thank you. Who was the first person to arrive? Oh, give me a round of applause. You don't have to introduce yourself. You don't have to say anything though.
Sheridan. Let's call me Sheridan.
Punctuality is key. The key to this never being present is always starting out. And I think that is the end of the day. Who's breaking off with a 1.5 minute speech, 5 speech? That's kind of the other part of this. That's the kind of quote of time. Who's that?
If you understand. Are you comfortable?
Once again, good afternoon, everyone. I don't know if I can call you my colleagues. Permit me to, Mr. Kila. I can't remember his name. The one, you, sir. Rotimi, and Madam Boshoro, I think. Another person that spoke to, though you didn't tell us your name.
I did.
Okay, all right. So on behalf of my humble self, my colleagues, we want to particularly thank you for this opportunity. For me personally, I CS, and for me to know CS right tells me how much I'm using. So many interesting courses on the CS that they provide that we all can go into and develop ourselves and grow professionally into our personal lives. And then being here today, I believe this has created an avenue for us to have an idea of what it means to grow, what it means to be a professional, which is very, very important, our respective endeavors, and also to admonish my colleagues to talk about CIAPS to their friends and families, and then tell them about the opportunities that this platform can provide. You've beautifully spoken, all of you have beautifully contributed, and I know we are all appreciating that from the depth of our heart. I don't know, this is not my first time of seeing you, sir. Maybe on TV, I've been trying to remember I've seen you before. But I think you're up. I think I've seen you on TV, but I can't remember. But I know this is not my first time of seeing you. This is my first time of seeing you in person, but I've seen you before. And you've proven that yes, you are a reservoir of knowledge, you are a capacitated professional, and then the professor title before your name. It's really, you're a man of substance. Yeah, of substance, caliber, and reference. And also to our Madam Lawyer, you have also proven that. So you, I have to call you coach. And it's interesting that you'll be taking people in business development. So our function is also very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity. How to start, how to call you coach.
There is a light.